Hello, everyone. Welcome to watch the Green Potato handheld evaluation. This video I brought the handheld is IR6 Pocket S. This handheld recently can be said to be in the spotlight, because it has the strongest processor in the current Android handheld, the second generation of Snapdragon G3X. You can understand it as a Snapdragon 8 G2 enhancement. Directly look at the handheld body. I do not know how you guys on the IR6 Pocket S. What are your impressions of the IR6 Pocket S? PS's bezel-less mirror screen and crystal buttons. The first thing that comes to mind is the combination of PSV and Switch Lite. But look at the side. The PS is actually thinner than a small handheld with a 2.8-inch screen. Vertical frosted metal center frame. Flat backside. It feels like an Apple Barcalounger with buttons and joysticks. The PS's directional buttons are similar to those on the PSV. Conductive rubber. It's soft to the touch. I personally think it's fine. There's no innovation at all. This is because the arrow keys, when pressed. When the arrow keys are pressed, there is very little up and down movement. Of course, this also leads to the hardness of the arrow keys when poking the knife with them. I have to poke a lot of times before I can poke out once. But this kind of arrow keys are very easy to poke. Maybe I'm not used to these keys, because I see other people can poke one and get one out. The right function key is also a conductive bridge. The proportions are smaller than the arrow keys. The PS joystick is a Hall joystick. It looks similar to the Switch's. In the joystick testing software, you can see that it has a full circular range. The two buttons in the lower left corner are the select and start buttons. The narrow piece of the pod is used. The bottom right is the ISpace button. Turn and press to bring up the shortcut menu. A long press calls out the ISpace turn button. The right one is the customize button. The top left button is the home button. Let's look at the top. The URL button is also made of conductive rubber. It feels like the PSP keys. It's very comfortable to press. The cool information trigger also feels good. The travel is relatively low. Easy to press. These two buttons can be customized. This air vent is officially called the Fishbone Bionic design. There are two indicator lights here. Volume button. Power button with integrated fingerprint recognition. There are two speakers at the bottom. Here is the air intake. In the center is a full-featured USB 3.2 Type-C port. There's a SD 3.0 TF card slot on the left side. Android is the heatsink. Pegasus front end will load slower. My 512G card is basically fully loaded. It takes about 20 seconds to load. Other machines are basically measured in minutes. There's a switch on the right. You just need to flick up to switch the performance. There's a balanced mode, gaming mode, full power. 3 modes. While switching, an animation will appear on the screen. Prompts you which mode you are in. There is a label and name text on the back. Charging power is 9 volts and 5 amps. The battery is 6,000 milliamp hours. The battery life depends on what game you're playing. Pressing the 2-press space button opens the lesson menu. Here you can turn on the performance level switch. You'll see the overall power consumption. Let's say the average power consumption of an MD game is 3.5 watts. Then the battery life is 6 times 3.85 divided by 3.5. That's about 6.5 hours of battery life. The PS has a maximum power consumption of 15 watts. It's a little over an hour and a half at full performance at best. The machine feels good in the hand. All 4 feet are very rounded. The back cover is slightly curved. At 350 grams, it's a bit heavy to hold. There is a matching grip to enhance the feel of the machine. I don't have one yet. The front and rear panels of the PS feel great to the touch, especially the front glass panel. But it's prone to fingerprints. The machine looks dirty. Let's compare the size with other handhelds. First, the Switch OLED. The PS is much smaller than the Switch OLED. The PS is also thicker than the Switch OLED. Then there's the Audi generation. PS is smaller in every aspect. Both of them are 6-layer screens. But since the PS has no bezel, the width is narrower, so the proportions are a bit slimmer. Next is the RP4. Its screen is only 4.7 inches. It's rightfully smaller than the PS. Both of them are designed with the same idea. Both are designed with a smooth and flat back cover to reduce weight, to increase portability, as well as increasing the grip with the matching grips. While the PS is indeed thin and light, but because of its slender body, I wouldn't dare to put it in my pocket. It's a real pain in the ass if you drop it. I'd rather carry it in my bag. The PS is 6-inch 16:9, 2560 by 1440 resolution IPS screen. Parameters are very good. There's almost no ghosting. The brightness of 400 nits is still very bright. It's an LCD after all. Brightness adjustment range is very wide. The lowest brightness I've ever seen is low even when I turn off the lights. The 490 ppi is higher than the Apple 15. There's no way to adjust the color on the system, but the default colors are impeccable. I'm going to brag about the 2K resolution here. 2K means GBA 9x ... 240p is like 6x ... Game Boy 10x point-to-point. Ability to navigate almost any shader when using shaders. Black borders and shader effects are even better compared to 1080p. For example, this Royal Series. It's my favorite CRT shader. The pixelation is very close to what the old TVs used to show. Wow, it really looks great. At 1080p resolution with this shader, the tracing lines are a bit uneven. It's just not enough resolution. 2K resolution is fine. And this CRT blah 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 shader, it's got a glow effect on the edges of the pixels. It's very close to the display style of the color gold, like other shaders. When you turn it on, the brightness goes down. When you turn on this shader, the brightness drops without a sound. It's also very cool. This shader is basically unusable at 1080p. GBA Open Big Country shader top and bottom, also no black edges. But the 6-inch screen is too big for GBA Nation games. Same with Game Boy games. I mainly use it for arcade and console games, with the less noticeable masks. The black edges don't really matter. Seriously. I have no regrets about playing retro games on this PS screen. It's the best I can do. And the PS buttons are conductive. I love it. Even though it's a down arrow key. It's not perfect for retro gaming fans, but I can't think of anything better. There's a bit of a lag when playing retro games on an Android handheld. The solution is simple. In the settings of the Omni emulator, find the option of latency. Turn on Run Ahead. Set the frame rate to 2 frames per second. then there will be almost no lag. The principle of this thing is to open two emulators at the same time. So it's very much a performance thing. A normal machine with shaders on can't afford to have this on at all. The rest of the PS configuration is pretty massive. There's not a lot of Chinese manufacturers that can compare to this. Because the IR Neo Pocket S is more like a flagship phone with buttons. Even the 3.5mm headphone jack has been removed. I guess some people in the pop-up screen are already brushing off the idea of adding a grip to the phone. Let's compare the score with the 8G2 processor phone. Snapdragon G3X is 30,000 points higher than the 8G2 CPU. CPU is 50,000 points